Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Brother Clark, and I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial for you as sort of a tour of the course and kind of a brief overview of how to kind of navigate the site and a lot of the contents. And hopefully this will help save you some time so you can navigate to some of the most critical resources. Again, my name is Brother Clark. I'll be your instructor for this class, and welcome to the course. This is going to be an exciting course. I think it's going to challenge most of you because there's going to be lots of terminology and phrases and concepts that are probably going to be relatively new and unfamiliar to you. And that's probably going to push a lot of you outside your comfort zone, which is a really good thing because that's going to help you to learn and understand a lot of new concepts that are actually pretty exciting. And maybe some of these you've never even thought about in the past. So I'm happy to be your instructor. And a little bit about how I work on these courses is I'm willing to help you every day of the week. If you need help with something, please don't hesitate to reach out through phone, text, email, or through even WhatsApp. I'm pretty available and very easy to get a hold of. And I can make time for most of you who are in some challenging time zones. I'm here in the state of Texas, which is the central time zone, and that can be um, a little bit challenging for a lot of you, I understand. So if you need to meet at my early morning or my late night, I'm totally flexible. I really want to help each and every one of you out to be as successful as possible and get the grade that you deserve, get the best grade possible, and really just kind of continue your education and your learning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and just kind of navigate around the course a little bit. This is meant to be kind of a brief intro uh, recording for you. It's not going to be real in depth on any assignments. What I'll be doing is providing you with some tutorials on some of those more challenging assignments over the next several weeks. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And this is what the title page is going to look like for all of you. And um, over here on the left ribbon, you're going to have some of your more important pieces of information in these sort of folders. There's going to be announcements, and every week I'm going to do one or two announcements, and those announcements are going to kind of prepare you a little bit for that week's assignments. I'll give you a couple of tips and tricks, some reminders, a little bit of guidance on how to navigate things as easy as possible. One thing I will point out is that there is a textbook for this. It's included in the course. You can download it as a PDF or as a Word document. I highly recommend downloading it as a Word document because then you're able to, highlight things and make some notes and comments, things like that. And even highlight things that you know you're going to want to use in your reports and your projects and your assignments. And I'll show you a little bit on that a little bit later in probably another video. But highlighting the textbook is absolutely critical, and it'll save you a lot of time and help you memorize things that you think might be pretty important. Um, so going to the announcement section, this is where all the announcements are going to live. There's going to be a lot of info here, so please go in and look at each announcement. You reply to my comments, reply to somebody else's comments. You can like and reply. It's a great way to get quick and recent and current information. Just going over to the modules, if you click on this section, this is going to be really kind of the main course. And if you look on week one, qualities of water, um, you're going to want to go through how to be successful in online courses in general. If you haven't seen that already, you're also going to want to look at the syllabus, and the syllabus is important. And then we're going to have like preparation, which is a chapter reading. You're also going to have knowledge check, which is a quiz. Um, and then you're going to have parameters of water quality, which is a discussion. And the discussion is where you're going to do a post. And that post is going to be about kind of your take on, the requirements of this discussion. And you're going to be required to comment on two other people's posts as well. You're going to be in groups. And so I'm going to be breaking you up into groups. And I'm not sure how many people will be in each group. It changes, but you may have 14 people or 15 people in your group. So you'll want to navigate that and keep in contact with those people because it's a great way for you to, um, assist one another when you have questions, see what they're doing, what works, what doesn't work. So you can network a little bit, And so I'll just be putting you in random groups. We don't pick teams or anything. It's just very randomized. But go through all of these week by week, go through and explore each one of these items. You'll start to learn that your preparation is a chapter. You're also going to have a knowledge check, which is usually a quiz, a virtual lab, which is a practice. It kind of feels and looks like a quiz. You'll have things like an application, which is going to be a lab or an assignment, and then you'll have a practice. And the practice kind of feels like a quiz as well, because you do submit it and it is kind of feeling like a quiz. So you'll just be going through each week, each one of these assignments. You'll have to do every one of these, but not every one of these is an actual task. Some of them, like the preparation is a chapter. But like I said, always download the chapter. I usually do it as a Word. You can do it as a PDF, but highlight those chapters, and that'll make your life a lot easier. Okay. See, the syllabus is here. The grade book is here. Another thing that I want to point out um, on this is the rubrics, and the rubrics are very, very important. What I'll do first off on one of these chapters is I'll just download the chapter here. You'll open up to a page like this, and then there's an arrow here. I like to always download it as a Word. It'll open up, and then I'll just open up this, and then I'll save this as chapter 2, and I'll save it in my folder. A lot of times, I'll go through and kind of clean up it a little bit because it converts and it can just be a little bit messy with the margins, but I like to go through and clean it up a little bit like that. There'll be some areas where, a period will be crowded by a word. I'll fix those types of things, like volatile, organic, just separate those types of things. And then you'll just go through and kind of highlight if you see something that you like or that is interesting, highlight that. You can even insert a comment here, and that'll just make it easy and helpful for you to do some of those assignments. And some of these things are definitely going to translate into the reports and some of those bigger assignments. You're going to have four large, back to the assignment here. You're going to have four large assignments, and each week you'll have one, almost each week. They don't really start until week 3. The first big report is going to be the water quality testing and inspection report. There's a separate tutorial, like a video tutorial like this about that, and I'm going to kind of share my screen and give you some good tips and tricks on how to do that. Week 4, your big assignment here is worth 54 points. That's going to be your lab pool inspection and report. That's going to give you the opportunity to either go to a pool and do an inspection there, or to do the virtual option and just look at the photos that have been provided. Let's see. Week 5, you're going to have the food inspection report where you'll have to go to a restaurant. There's no photos to do for this, so you have to go to like a cafe or a restaurant and do some observations there on what you see according to the rubric. And then week 6, you're going to have part you're going to have part 1 of the indoor air quality inspection report. That's going to be, like I said, part 1, and then part 2 of that is right here. So really, you're going to be doing a lot of your collections and sampling here, and then you're going to write about it here in part 2. So it's 2 weeks. What I will do is I'll just open up, I think I'll open up this one here and just show you what a rubric looks like. And the rubric is super important, so I can't stress that enough. Take a look at every single rubric. And I always tell people, shoot for the stars, always go for the proficient or the distinguished options. This is where you get the most points and the most credit. It is going to push you the hardest, and you're going to have to provide, the most content and the most thought and effort into those. So, you've also got developing, which is okay, and then you've got, you get 0 points or no marks if you didn't do anything or you missed that section. Each section is worth about 4 or 5 points. Some of them are worth a little bit less in some rubrics, but I always tell people focus on the whole proficient, distinguished, do your best in this category, and that'll ensure that you have a good final product. Okay, so a little bit more on the rubric that a lot of people miss, and that is pay attention to each one of these rows because each row is something very, very important. And you'll want to have a title page. You're going to want to have a table of contents. Now, for all of your reports in this course, the table of contents and the title page, they all kind of look the same. And you can, use the same Word document and recycle it for all your reports and just, of course, change the content. But that way you won't have to create a new title page every time or a new table of contents. But you do have to have those, and they do have to be a certain format. You're going to want to have a dot header, and I'll show you what that looks like in another tutorial. You're going to need to have an introduction, and a distinguished introduction includes all components from the proficient section here, but also have a statement describing the deficiencies or recommendations. So you're going to hear the word deficiency and recommendations a lot during this course. And what that means is that you need to creatively identify deficiencies while you're doing these inspections, even if they're virtual inspections. And in those, you'll be not only identifying the deficiencies, you need to make a statement of why they're deficient. And it doesn't say that in here very well, but my recommendation is to always state a deficiency, such as um, the pool water that I inspected at the swimming pool was cloudy and dirty. Um, it was cloudy and dirty because the pool is not maintained properly, or the pool chemistry is not maintained properly. The pH could be off, the chlorine levels could be off, the muriatic acid levels could be off, something like that. And then you want to have a recommendation. The recommendation may be to hire a pool expert or to have somebody come in and do some in-depth pool chemistry sampling to find out exactly why. So a couple things there. Introduction, those are going to be things that are very important. Just to list um, briefly. And then you've got your narrative content. And that is where you're going to want to dive in a little bit deeper and really talk about those. Talk about your recommendations, talk about the whys, talk about the deficiencies. So here would be a brief list of those. Here would be more of an in-depth list of those. Sampling methods. You're going to have to take samples. And when I say take samples, that means take virtual samples. And you may not be literally walking around a building collecting water samples from different sources, but you're just going to have to write it as if you were. So you may say, "Hey, my name is Brother Clark," or fill in the blank. I'm going to be walking around the facility to identify which sources of water are present, and then I'm going to come back another day and actually collect samples in bottles. And so you'll just kind of walk us through what your inspection and sampling looks like. And feel free to be creative and fictional and just describe it as if you were actually doing it. You're going to have a results table, which is going to be provided for you. You don't have to create that. You do have to fill it in, though. You have another section about recommendations. Talk about 3 recommendations that you have, and then talk about conclusions, your overall opinion, and recommendations, preventative actions, corrective actions. Use your imagination there. And then you'll have an appendix that has all of the forms that you'll be downloading. And I won't skip ahead or overwhelm you with that, but I will do another tutorial on that. So anyway, like I said, do not forget to look at the rubric, which is this, for every assignment. It is extremely helpful, and if you follow that, you will do very well. A couple other items that I want to point out while I'm pointing out the rubric is that you're going to see appendixes. You're going to see something called Appendix A and Appendix C. I'm going to go over here and open those up, and just give you a quick tour of what those look like. This is Appendix C, and this is Appendix A. Now, these are called writing reports, and this other one is called sampling and results forms. Each one is extremely important. So I recommend downloading those. You can even highlight them as you go and check off what you've already covered. I like to do that so I don't do something twice or forget to do something. But these are extremely important, and it would be impossible to do the course without Appendix A and C. So I won't dive too deep into these, but I will do more video tutorials for you. And but these are going to show you which sampling form is which, and then how to complete it successfully. For example, you'll be doing drinking water sampling sheet, and then you're going to have to use all this content right here at the bottom. All this is extremely important. and then just follow the notes. And it'll say, the name of the location is this. The address of the location is this. And then you'll go through and follow these instructions line by line. Um, so don't forget to read each one of these numbered items, or you may miss something. But like I said, each one of these forms, they look a little bit scary and they look very, very technical. They're not, though, as long as you follow all the instructions on how to fill them out. Okay, that's how that looks. Just going back over to Appendix A. This is going to walk you through a little bit more on the technicalities of creating the report. Now, most of your long reports are going to be a Word document, and most of the time they're going to be 8 to 10 pages. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's actually not. Um, but follow each one of these sections, like section 1 is going to talk about the title page. And these are the things that need to appear in the title page and nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. You're also going to have a table of contents. This is exactly the info that you're going to want to have in the table of contents. Um, And again, usually nothing more and nothing less. Then you got the body of the report. This is where really kind of the longest part of the report, where you have to put the most thought and the most analysis and the most content. So read each and every one of these lines and just really answer them, but elaborate on them. Don't leave them too brief. Really, I recommend to take a lot of time and put a lot of thought into those. You'll have another section usually about your observations and narrative, so on and so forth. Uh, and so then you're going to have another report on a pool inspection. As I mentioned, you might point out that the water may be cloudy or the chemistry could be off, or it's just full of debris or dirt. Maybe the filters are malfunctioning. There's all kinds of problems with pools. And so this will show you again how to do a title page, how to do a table of contents. And it'll be very similar to what I just showed you up above, except this is going to give you a little bit more, I'd say, trigger points here, because it'll talk about, chlorine tests, pH tests. So it'll be a little bit more granular and specific in what it's asking. There's going to be a food safety report. That's one of the other big ones. And so again, just follow this guidance in the appendix, and you will not be led astray. It really is a nice bonus to have those appendixes. So yeah, so do take care to observe those. Um, okay, and that is pretty much all I had for you on this tutorial. I know that might have got a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but again, I will be doing other tutorials in the near future, and I'll provide a little video or voice tutorial like this for some of those bigger projects that you'll be doing. So anyway, again, I appreciate all of you. I'm so excited to be learning with you on this learning journey and helping you out as much as I can as your instructor. So again, reach out as often as possible and as early as possible. And I would love to help you out either, again, through voice or text or email, or even through Zoom calls. We can do Zoom calls and you can share your screen or I can share my screen. It's a very quick and easy, efficient way, to explain some of these concepts a little bit clearer to you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. The course does go by very, very quick. So my recommendation is always to, kick off your week with an assignment and then allow yourself some days throughout the week to get it done or work with me when you have challenges or issues. Um, so all the best, good luck, and please keep in touch and we'll talk soon. Bye.